Okay. So so what you want to do is go to toastmasters.org. So that's over here. And you'll obviously need to create an account and all of that. Now, when you do so, make sure it is it's not imperative, but it's helpful if you use the same email that you used when signing up for Columbia. So this way it kind of like is all in sync. If you don't, it's not a big deal, but it's just a little bit faster that way to kind of get your accounts kind of synced up, because the whole Toastmasters, the way Toastmasters works is that there are basically two websites that you have to navigate. The first website is toastmasters.org. This is the education curriculum part of it. And this is what kind of navigates you through the entire education process. So that's one piece of it. And the second piece of it is the Columbia University side of it, which I will show you now, just for context. So what you want to do is you want to register with Columbia University Toastmasters. That website is columbiatoastmasters.com. And there you'll create an account. And essentially, the purpose of the Columbia website is to schedule your speaking engagements at Columbia. Now, in order for you to get credit for these speaking engagements or roles in Toastmasters, that's when you work with the toastmasters.org website. So that's how these two websites kind of work to a degree in parallel with each other. So, and also, as I go over it, I think it'll become more apparent. So starting with the toastmasters.org website, you register, and then you'll see a screen that looks something like this. You'll click on either education, which will give you two links to pathways, which will tell you what pathways is. And then when you click pathways, the tab that's called pathways, you'll then be presented with a menu that looks like this, where you will have to choose a path if you haven't chosen already. So since this would likely be your first time, you would click choose a path. And then this thing logged me out for whatever reason. So let me log back in. Yeah, so when you click on pathways, select your, okay, so English obviously, and then okay, this is, I guess, something new. How do you like to access your materials? Okay. Yeah, they've kind of changed things up a little bit since they redesigned the website. So I'm kind of seeing this for the first time with you. Hopefully, when you see it, you'll be less confused than me. So view path options, and then and this gives you all the pathways that are included that you can choose from. So you can select either presentation mastery, dynamic leadership, effective coaching, leadership development, innovative planning, engaging humor, motivational strategies, strategic relationships, team collaboration, visionary communication, or persuasive influence. So these are all the pathways that you can choose from. And for the most part, level 1 of these pathways, regardless of which pathway you select, for the most part will be similar. And then it begins to kind of change when you get to level 2 onwards. And there still might be a few projects in each of these pathways that might correlate with another pathway. But the point I'm trying to make is, based on what you're looking to do, as far as since you said you wanted to do keynote speeches and things like that, what pathway would be most helpful? So I'm thinking maybe presentation mastery. That's something that appears to be the logical choice. Beyond presentation mastery, another pathway could be either motivational strategies or visionary communication. So I think these three things, presentation mastery, visionary communication, and potentially motivational strategies, seem to be pathways that you could consider. Now, the sort of disclaimer is that once you select a pathway, you can't change it. You're then kind of locked into it. Now, you can select another pathway if you like, but that does, incur a slightly additional fee of, I don't know, $10, $20, something like that, if you wanted to have additional pathways. But that's broadly what you do. You select something, and then the wizard navigates you with, what's next, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if let's say education pathways. So what happens is, once you select a pathway, the next step is you click on this link that says go to Basecamp. So when you click go to Basecamp, it'll throw you up something that looks like this. And this is kind of the curriculum wizard that walks you through the various projects. And you can start with any project. Most people start with level 1 and then they go kind of sequentially that way, but you can start with any project that you like. So just for illustration purposes, I'm going to click on the pathway that I've chosen here, which is my pathway, persuasive influence. So what I do is I click on this blue button that says open curriculum. I click that, and then it kind of throws up this menu. And this is the menu that helps you navigate through the various levels. And each level has a certain number of projects that you have to complete the level. So that's kind of like how it works. So for example, here I've the very first project is Icebreaker, and that's common across all pathways. So I've completed that. I've completed the evaluation and feedback. I've completed researching and presenting. And that's, something that I got to sort of verify as a process in this. And once that is done, the VP, whatever you do here, it's then approved by the VP Education. In our club, it's Ling. And she then, essentially verifies or authenticates that whatever selections you made are on point and you're kind of progressing in the levels. So that's broadly how you navigate the system to move from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. So essentially, Beth, from your perspective, you could, if you wanted to, you could do it this way, or you could also click level 2 and say, okay, what does level 2 look like? And you might see a project here that seems interesting or relevant to a current, need or a timely need. And if that's the case, you could, essentially click activate, and that'll then, you'll see a button that says launch curriculum. You launch it, it'll then create another menu that'll walk you through the various materials that Toastmaster feel is relevant to that project. And basically, that's the education component. So there's like a lot of materials here, both in video as well as in text format, and it is interactive too. So there are things like pop quizzes and stuff that it'll kind of give you a theoretical framework. It'll then ask you questions to check if you're able to absorb the information. And if you answered correctly, it'll say correct. And if you answered incorrectly, it'll throw the question again and have you do it again. So that's how it assesses if you've, essentially got it or absorbed it. Some cases you need to answer all the questions correctly in order to proceed. In some cases, it's not required, but that varies by level. And since the redesign of the website, I don't know if any of those systems have changed, but a lot of it's pretty like simple and fairly intuitive.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, so based on this, the part that I've shared, do you have any questions?
Hold on one second. My boss is calling me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Just pause the recording.
I would have wasted time, so I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and also while you navigate that, if you have any questions when you're going through that, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to assist at that time too. This is kind of, I guess, just to, help with some kind of broad context, as well as, to kind of get you started so that, you can, like kickstart the process. Now, the Toastmasters.com, or rather Toastmasters.org part of the website is kind of more for your certification. The part that's relevant to scheduling your speeches in the club, that's something that you do from ColumbiaToastmasters.com, that website. And essentially the way that you do that is you log in, and then you click on the link on the top that says, oh wait, am I sharing my screen? Oh, I guess I'm not. Okay. Can you see my screen?
I can.
You can? Okay, cool. So just to reiterate briefly, the part of the website that you essentially interact with for scheduling your speeches at the club is this website, which is ColumbiaToastmasters.com. And you go to that website and click on meeting agendas after logging in, obviously, and you click on meeting agendas, and then it'll take you to a page like this, and then you select the date on which you'd like to speak. So today we're on August 9th. The upcoming meeting is August 13th. So if you wanted to speak, you would select this date and then see if there was a speaking role available. So for example, speaker number 5, the slot is available. So you would click sign up and then put in, so I'll show you what that looks like. So you click sign up, your picture then appears here. If you have a picture, if you don't, it'll be the generic Toastmasters logo. And then it'll prompt you to select a path. So you then select whichever path you selected from the Toastmasters website. And after selecting a path, you then put in a project title and a little introduction about it. And if you haven't fully thought of the project yet, you could just put in a working title and a working description, which you can edit later on. And you enter that and you click save project details, and then you're all set. And then what happens is when it comes to that date on which this agenda relates to, you'll then be one of the speakers slotted to speak on that date. So that's how that works.
Terrific.
And this is also the same website that you navigate if you want to sign up for a role like counter or timer or evaluator. If you want to be someone's evaluator, then this is the same website that you do that. Like evaluator 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are open. So if you wanted to be an evaluator, you could do that too. Now, the thing is that if you sign up to be an evaluator, you can't be a speaker and an evaluator on the same day. It's one or the other. So that's just something to keep at the back of your mind.
Terrific.
Yeah. Any questions on this?
No, it's actually pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I'm impressed. I haven't seen anything like this before, but I've never looked into it, so it's very professional.
Yeah, so that's as far. I'm gonna think stop the recording here.